Hey, today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I hear about a lot at the Little Soul School and something that I really went through and struggled with, and still sometimes a little bit struggle with, but mostly I feel on the other side of. But this feeling of the spiritual path and loneliness. For some people, they follow religious practices. And if you do, there are institutions for that. And you're capable of finding community. You join in, you feel good about yourself. And then there's like kind of the intellectual route. Perhaps you're interested in, more of a science-based life, which is also an option. You can go into intellectual circles and talk about what is true in the world according to science or math or quantum theory. And, there's people who you can connect to and feel comfortable with those decisions. Then there's all the people I think who are kind of in this like big bucket in the middle. And I think of them as explorers, great explorers into the unknown, I would argue. And for some reason, I think it's a PR problem I'm working to undo, and I hope you can join me. There's this feeling of like, it's weird. It's weird to not have a formal view of life. You just know that you believe in something and that you want to explore that belief. And that belief is really exciting to you, and it's opening up a conversation, right? Who am I? Why am I here? What is the purpose of life? Perhaps you've gotten to a place where, you've had a certain amount of success and you're saying, well, it can't just be success. It can't. I know that I didn't find the meaning I was looking for there. Or maybe you had passion, and even though you had a career that was very meaningful, there's something more. You had kids, you've traveled, whatever it is, there's an explorer in you that's asking this question. Who am I? Why am I here? What does this mean? And you're excited and you're trying things. You're trying things. You're trying lots of things. Perhaps you're doing psychedelics. Perhaps you're going to silent meditations or lucid dreaming or the Akashic Record. There's so many ways to explore this beautiful world, yoga, meditations. And for some reason, it's seen as woo-woo or weird or I don't know, something that when you go to tell your friends and family, oh my God, there's this thing that I'm so excited about. And I want to jump from the rafters with like joy and say like, oh my God, this is it. This is so fun. There's a feeling of, will it be met with that weird look on their face of like, you're weird. And what are you talking about? And how can you subscribe to something that's not, quote, real? That it's cult like or whatever. I don't know. There's all these stigmas. The crazy cat lady. Like there's so many, right? And so one of the reasons, one of the things that I hear specifically when people communicate to me is like, I seem normal. And I think, well, I am normal. And I don't know that people who believe in this aren't normal, but there is this PR thing that it's kind of this woo-woo odd experience. So I joke, coming out of the closet in the 90s, which was not easy, was easier than coming out of the spiritual closet. And in certain ways that's true. In certain ways it's not, but I do have that joke I tell my friends. And so jokes aside, it's like it's kind of not funny, right? This is something that matters to you, and the people around you seem to have some odd reaction because of the cultural norms or whatever they think you're dabbling in something, quote, weird, when really you're just exploring what I think is the most important question. What is the purpose of life? Why are we here? What does it mean? And I'm open to reviewing that question in all sorts of ways, not just one straightforward, singular way, which is fine if that's true for you, but I want to look at it through multiple lenses, look at the commonalities. Perhaps I want to study Buddhism one day and Christianity the next, and then meditate and do yoga. Like, what is the issue there? I don't see it. And so if you're experiencing this, if you're saying to yourself, God, I feel kind of lonely since I went on the spiritual path. Well, you're not alone in that view. It's something that I hear at the school all the time. It's something that I went through. I really struggled to tell the people that I love, hey, I've gotten this new passion in my life. It's called the Akashic Record. But here's what happened. Okay. The truth. When I did, when I had that courage to say, this is really true for me and I'm really excited to explore it, I found a lot more people were like, oh my God, I believe in something too, but I don't know what it is. And it gave them permission to share that they too were seekers, explorers, open and curious, and desiring a deep conversation with themselves, which I think is beautiful. And for those who don't respond, that's okay, right? Isn't it okay? Like, do we need everybody to agree with everything we do? I did come out in the 90s as gay, and it wasn't easy. And I answered a lot of strange questions because it was normal back then. How did you know you're gay? And when was the moment you decided? And I thought that was normal. And I look back now and I'm like, that's not normal. Why was everybody asking me that? Well, that was kind of what culture felt was appropriate at that time in history. So, similarly, I think there's a time in history, which I do think is evolving, but where people think they have a right to say, well, why do you think that? And prove it to me. And, oh, so does that mean you don't believe in this other thing or whatever? And it's really none of their it's really none of their business why you believe what you believe. It's personal. So that said, the loneliness is real. And this feeling, I think, comes from a deeper conversation, which is as I closed the door to the reality that was decided for me before I was born. When I closed the door to the reality that was decided for me before I was born. I say that twice because I really want to pause there. When I was a baby, I was told this is blue and this is red. Is it actually blue? Is it actually red? Or is it the construct we've all agreed to? I was told this is a boy, this is a girl. Well, there are these different physical parts of us, but those are labels. I was told my name is Laura. I could have been told my name is Sarah. Then I'd be called Sarah. So there's a reality. If you check out the Four Agreements at the beginning, he talks about this collective story that we are all indoctrinated into at birth. And it doesn't mean that this story is the truth. And so I think the most important thing we can do with our life is to explore that story, that conversation for ourselves. The Akashic Record suggests that before our soul chooses to embody through a physical form, it creates a soul plan. And in creating a soul plan, it decides what the soul wants to do, why it's here, what it wants to learn, grow, heal, what relationships it wants to have and why, and what career aspirations it may have and why. And when we're born, we don't remember that soul plan, and we're told all sorts of things about what this reality is and isn't, and who we are and who we're not. And yet there is this elusive but very truthful space within each of us that knows exactly who we are and why we're here. And it's evolving. It's quiet. It's hard to find. This is what I teach and what I love. But if you're asking yourself, am I alone or I feel lonely? I think it's stemming from this feeling of it is scary to close the door to the reality that you were told is this truthful, that perhaps what we've all bought into in terms of the point of life. Um, I get married, I have kids, I have a job, I die. And somehow that's supposed to be satisfying. Or I adhere to beliefs and principles without any questions. I don't know that that's true. And so the loneliness is perhaps your bravery. It perhaps is your willingness to confront that that story might not be accurate for you because I don't believe it is. And it is hard to go on our own, to have our own questions, to go on our own journey. But that is what we're doing here. And you're not alone. You have your soul. You have the part of you that is driving those questions with you. The you that you refer to, meaning your identity, your mind, the sense of self that you believe, I am Laura, I am 54, and I am this woman sitting in a chair chatting with you today. That is not who I am. There is a part of me, of course, that appears that way, and there is the rest of me that is elusive and here as well, that is with me at all times, and my guides are here. And there's also a huge community of people who are in this grand exploration too. So you're not alone. And perhaps that feeling of loneliness is a deeper conversation of what it would really feel like to close the door to a singular view of life, to a view that was handed to you without your permission when you first were born. Perhaps one that you would like to renegotiate or reconsider for yourself. So, my hope for whoever's listening, if this speaks to you, is perhaps seeing that moment of loneliness as a moment of bravery and a moment of courage to listen and decide what is true for you. Each of us are here with a unique signature and stamp, with a unique purpose. And it is very important that you listen. So I'm proud of you for doing that. And I'm with you in those fears. And I have definitely struggled my way through so many of them, so many restless nights, so many confrontations of quote self. But the self that I was confronting was the self that was pushed to align to a story of who we are and why we're here before I had a, a voice to decide. It was decided for me in how I was raised and the schools that we go to. And it doesn't mean that it's all bad and that it all needs to be thrown in the garbage. It just means, and nobody did it to be malicious. It just simply means it's not necessarily as simple as that life is much more layered and textured, and there's so much that we'll never know. And so gave me goosebumps to say that. To be in the energy of curiosity and conversation is a beautiful thing. So I welcome you into a conversation at the Little Soul School. I hope that this conversation at least was helpful in any feelings of isolation or loneliness. You're not alone. There's many people who are having the same curiosity, and it's beautiful. So thank you for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to learn more about this question of the unknown in terms of the Akashic record, that's what I teach. You can check it out at littlesoul.school. But obviously, follow your own curiosity, whatever's true for you. If that's true, I'd love to have you. If it's not, I wish you the best on your journey. All love.